Time for war!
Flag up, grab your siege hammer, and go join the stampede of hundreds of players, storming into a battle that many of them have no idea how it works. With the new Realm Divided 2 update, there will be even more chaos and tons of new cool content. If you want to actually understand what's going on, this video explains everything about faction warfare, including the new and exciting battle standards and bandit events, the many ways you can participate, tips to navigate the battlefield, and how to spend your faction points. Let's charge in! Faction warfare is the 6 cities fighting over control of the territories on the royal continent. There are 4 across blue, yellow, and red zones. The cities are Thetford, Fort Sterling, Bridgewatch, Lyndhurst, and Martlock. And of course, the bandit city Caerleon. The battles can be huge with hundreds of players, or smaller 10v10, or all the way down to solo content. Or you can just do peaceful gathering with no combat at all. Whatever you like to do, there is some way you can participate in faction. And you really should, because you get millions of extra silver with no extra effort. To participate in any way, you have to first flag for a city. Go to your royal city and find the faction NPC. This symbol on the map. First, click Enlist. Then click again to flag up. Your flag will appear next to your avatar and also above your character. You can deflag anytime by clicking the flag next to your avatar. It channels for a while and then your flag disappears. Going into the Outlands, Mists, Arenas and Expeditions automatically deflags you. Being flagged means you can be attacked in any zone by players of the enemy faction, even if they are not marked hostile. If you're flagging for Caerleon, you can be attacked by everyone, including other Caerleon players, unless they're in your party or guild. No Geneva Convention there. However, in blue and yellow zones, you don't lose anything and will respawn in the zone. In red zones, you can be killed and you lose all your stuff. Flagging is not a lifelong decision. You can switch factions anytime by enlisting in another city. However, the longer you stay with a faction, the higher standing and rank you earn with them. Ranks give you bonuses on faction points and unlock new rewards. You can see your rank in this left circle button, Faction Warfare 3rd tab. When you switch factions, you drop a few ranks, losing some of your bonuses and unlocked rewards. And if you switch to Caerleon, you lose all of your rank. However, you keep your faction points, which is what you use to buy rewards. The cities with the lowest recruitment rates also give you massive bonuses, way higher than your rank bonus. If you're a peaceful gatherer or an experienced player, consider enlisting where the highest bonus is. As soon as you're flagged, you can get faction points for yourself or supplies for your faction's war effort. There is just one condition. You need at least 700 IP. If you're a new player and you don't have this yet, I made a video on how to boost your IP without a long grind, which could really help you out. The activities that earn points or supplies are fishing, gathering, killing mobs, killing or knocking down enemy flag players, delivering the new and exciting battle standards, capturing or defending outposts, clearing faction camps, claiming supply chests, capturing or defending fortresses, or fending off the new and exciting bandit assaults. The first 4 earn you points anywhere. The last 6 are limited to active conflict zones, but can earn you way more. Points are based on fame, so naturally you get more in red zones than in blue or yellow. Additionally, you get a bonus on fame and silver in certain zones, plus 5% in a peaceful province owned by your faction, 10% if your faction is attacking the province, or 15% if your faction owns and is defending the province. So no matter what you do, it pays off to be where your faction is fighting. Fishing, gathering, and killing mobs is simple. Do your normal thing and you'll earn points automatically. Just make sure your gear meets the IP requirement. With no extra effort, you will level up faster thanks to the fame bonuses and get thousands of extra silver through faction rewards. But enough peace talk. Let's get to the battles. To find the action, click M to open the world map. And if you don't see this view automatically, click Map Overlay in the top right and then select Faction Warfare. Up here you can toggle a view of the larger provinces, which you can see with the light colored outlines. So this is one province here and this is another one. You can also click Region View to zoom in and view the individual zones within each province. In the legend here you can see the colors for each city and symbols for a few mechanics. Attacks happen between provinces, not zones. The big flags and province border colors show you who owns the province, and the red arrows show you who is attacking who. And the red glowing borders show provinces in conflict, where your faction is involved. For example, I enlisted with Thetford, and I can see it controls all these provinces with the purple flags. And Bone Pools, Lothian Hills, Redstone Verge, Frozen Wastes, and Grey March are all under attack, as they are glowing red. We are not attacking any other province right now, but if we were, it would also glow red. The colors on the map show zone control. This depends on who holds most of a zone's outposts. These flag symbols here. For example, here, this province belongs to Thetford, but Martlock controls all the outposts in Caerleon, most in Runnel Sink, and the only one in Mardale. Therefore, those zones are Martlock blue. You can even have one faction hold the province and another one hold every zone within it, like Bone Pools here. For the 5% bonus I mentioned earlier, what matters is province control, so the big flag, not the zone color. The stars under the zone name show the zone value. This fills up the longer the same faction holds the zone, and resets when it switches factions. For example, we can see Martlock has held Guttros Hill for a while, as it has full value. But it has only recently captured Mardale, as it just started growing from 0. The higher the zone value, the more points a faction gets for capturing the zone. Zone control plays a big part in how attacks happen, but doesn't determine their outcome. Let's break it down. First is the supply phase, where the attacking and defending factions compete to generate the most supplies inside the province under attack. You get supplies for your faction by clearing camps and claiming chests anywhere in the province, no matter who owns the zone. You also get a steady influx for controlling the province's outposts, so you want to capture as many as possible. However, you can only capture outposts by pushing your front line. This means you must start from a zone you already control and expand through the paths into connected zones. For example, here, Lyndhurst is attacking Redstone Verge, but to actually capture its zones, they would have to first recapture their own provinces, Kindlegrass Steppe, then Astolat, and only then could they capture zones in the province they're attacking. They could, however, already capture Deadwain Gully, because it is connected to Wire Forest, which is held by Lyndhurst. When you capture most outposts in one zone, it takes a while for the zone ownership to switch, shown by the colored bar under the zone name. This process must be completed before you can capture outposts in the next zone. It goes faster if you capture all the outposts, not just most. You can also capture outposts and zones in provinces not in conflict, like this outpost here. However, this won't contribute to any supply phase, as there is none in this province. Your front line must always stay connected to your royal city. If an area gets cut off, like Fort Sterling here for example, you can no longer expand from there. That's why even though here Ankelsnag Mire looks like it's surrounded by enemies, it actually cannot be attacked by anyone, because both Martlock and Thetford are cut off, marked by these symbols, and Lyndhurst has no path connection. And in fact, this symbol here means no faction can capture this zone or its outposts. However, you can see Caerleon doesn't have that symbol, and that's because it can actually be attacked by Lyndhurst. It's pretty hard to see, but there's actually a tunnel connecting the two zones. The entrances look like this, and there should be a light dotted line between them, though in this case it's not really there. You can also check the zone maps and see that both these exits lead to the same underground passage called Ore Audit. So Caerleon can be attacked from Craig Door. Alright, now you know how capturing outposts and zones works. And you'll see that when you blindly follow a horde, it sometimes traipses into completely the wrong direction. Unfortunately, you probably still have to follow them, because you can't do camps or outposts alone. But at least you can warn the people in the chat, get ignored, and then watch everyone realize the hard way that you were right. To recap, the camps, chests, and outposts all generate supplies for your faction inside a province under attack. At specific times shown in this drop-down up here, the system checks who has the most supplies, and you can also see this in these bars, or by clicking the province flag. If the defenders are winning, they have successfully repelled the attack, and the counterattack is launched, with a new supply phase starting somewhere else. However, if the attackers have more supplies, then the second phase, called the siege, is triggered, shown with this symbol on the world map. Now the factions fight over control of the province by fighting over its faction fortress. You can find it with this symbol on the world map. Its colors on the zone map shows who owns it, and you can also see the owner by clicking on it from the world map. If the defenders win the siege, the province stays theirs and a counterattack is launched, starting again from the supply phase. And if the attackers win, the fortress and the province flag flip to their faction. Now let's hit the battlefield and see how all of this works on the ground. Plus, the cool bandit assault and crucial tips for survival. First, gear up. I tend to take tier 6 or tier 7 equivalent. And if I loot anything better, I equip that instead. That way I have the best shot at surviving without high rebuy costs if I die. For a great build, check out my last video, which includes recommendations specific to faction warfare. If you want to fully participate in the siege, take a siege hammer too. You can easily teleport to a province in conflict using faction transport, next to the faction NPC. By the way, you can also find this in yellow zone fortresses, marked by this icon. Right now I have these 4 options. I don't care much for blue or yellow zones, and this area is already under our control. But here, it's very close. So that's where I will go. You just pay a small amount of silver and it drops you in the province. Just a short ride from the front line. The first thing you want to do is find other people in your faction and invite as many as you can to your party. The maximum is 20. Being in a party means fame and points are shared among the members, which is better for everyone. In a party, everyone chips in and gets something. If you want, you can also open your party up for reinforcements. Just click your avatar and then open party for faction warfare. Your party will now be listed as an option in the faction transport, so people can teleport near you and join your party instantly. By the way, if you like these explanations, they're written by my amazing girlfriend. Become a member of our channel and you can vote on what we make next. You can also level up as a gorilla, get cool emojis she handmade, and be part of our fun community in my Gorilla Gang Discord. Gorilla alone sad, but gorilla together happy and strong. Now back to the video. Now you can do the supply phase activities. First, Realm Divided 2 introduced battle standards, shown with this icon. When you pick it up, everyone can see it move, with the color showing your faction. You can deliver it to any outpost your faction controls for points. But if you carry it while doing other faction activities, it increases in value and starts to look fancier. To max it out, you will have to kill an enemy faction player. Then, you and anyone who helped get more points when you deliver it. As long as you stay alive, of course. If you die, you drop it, and anyone can steal it for their faction with all the upgrades that you have earned. Next, faction camps. You can find small or large ones with these icons, and the countdown timer shows when they can be cleared. You kill all the mobs and then you can open up the camp chest for loot, points and supplies. The loot is hit or miss. Sometimes it's like getting dirty old socks for Christmas, and sometimes you get way more than you deserve. Third, supply chests, which appear like this. Just open them when they unlock. Your faction gets supplies and everyone from your faction nearby a laughably small amount of loot. And lastly, the zone's outposts. You can capture these in King of the Hills style by defeating the mobs and boss and then standing on the ring with no enemies there until it flips to your faction. That's it for the supply phase. When the sieges start, you have 10 minutes to gather at the faction fortress. Then the chaos begins. Attacking players need to break down the walls and gates to get inside. And defenders, of course, need to stop them. Defenders can also repair the walls if they are not destroyed, but gates cannot be repaired. Both sides need siege hammers for this. Once inside, attackers must kill a final round of mobs that spawn around the center, called Last Stand, and then capture the fortress similarly to outposts. If they manage to do this, they win control of the fortress and therefore the province. At the top of the screen there is a bar showing the defenders' progress. If this fills up completely, then the defenders win. During the siege, weapon caches spawn near the fortress, shown with this icon. These are initially locked and after a short time they are unlocked and can be captured by players of any faction by just opening them. These move the defense progress bar in your favor. forward when you're on defense, or backwards when you're attacking. They also reward all players of your faction in the fortress area with a stacking damage and resistance buff. When the siege is over, a new attack is declared, and you can do more supply phase activities. But there is also this cool thing called bandit assaults. They happen semi-randomly several times a day, with a warning 15 minutes before they start. There is no way to know more in advance, so you just have to be online at the right time. After Realm Divided 2, they also have 2 phases, similar to what I have just described. When the bandit assault starts, all red zones and their outposts are taken over by the NPC Caerleon bandits. Fortresses and province control doesn't change. Phase 1 lasts 40 minutes. Factions compete to clear camps, claim chests and capture outposts to earn bandit supplies. These are separate from the supplies we talked about earlier. But if a bandit assault zone is also one of your conflict zones, your activities there get you both bandit and regular supplies. All players doing the bandit assault get a buff on their fame, silver and loot for the event's duration. After 40 minutes, phase 2 starts and lasts for 20 minutes. Now the battle focuses on 2 randomly chosen provinces where bandit supplies are increased. The fortresses in these provinces spawn chests, and any faction except the owner can attack the fortress to claim the chest. The owner can defend, and if they hold off the attackers for the whole 20 minutes, they can claim the chests for themselves. The fortress can't be captured though, unless there is a siege happening at the same time. Weapons caches can also spawn in the area, giving players buffs. When the bandit assault ends, each faction is ranked on how many bandit supplies it earned, and points are awarded accordingly. Now you know all the war mechanics. Before I go over survival strategies, here's a summary of what you can do. If you would like to dive headfirst into the most exciting chaos, then go for fortress sieges or bandit events. For slightly less chaotic battles, try clearing camps, claiming chests, or capturing outposts. For solo PvE, stay away from the main attractions, so any type of icons you see on the map. Just stay in a province that's in conflict to get the fame and point bonuses. Remember, you get more points in provinces controlled by your faction and for activities related to attack or defense, and of course in red zones. Now, big battles can be chaotic, and it's hard to know what to do. So here are some tips for beginners. When you fight an unorganized group, there is no specific targeting, and people hit whatever is close to them. But if you're a beginner and you have no clue what's going on, you should always assume you're fighting an organized group. Think of them like a wave. These people will kite away from you, and when your clueless group runs after them, a tank will jump on you, pull you all together, and their DPS will unleash everything onto you, and you will basically explode, and all of your teammates go with you. To navigate this without dying, you have to get a feeling for when the wave is crashing onto you. Realistically, my honest advice is to just run away. Save your loot and do not die. But if you want to fuck around and find out, then stay out of their damage range and hit their damage dealers with a long-range weapon when they are crashing onto you. When they pull back, don't chase them, because they will have players whose only job is to stall you until their spells are back, to crash on you again. That's my advice for the best chance of staying alive. 2 bonus tips. Be alert when opening chests. Sometimes an enemy player can go invisible, run into the crowd and deal a bunch of AoE damage to get faction points. Dismount your horse, and if your Q, W and E abilities are on cooldown, there is an enemy player nearby, so get back on your horse and move away. And second, if you get a tradable Tome of Insight, meaning they don't have this symbol here, you could lose them if you die. Then use them right away so they don't go to waste. So does this war ever end? No. All the points you and your players earn count towards your faction's total in the faction warfare window. Second tab, hover over the flags to see the points and the zone count. You can also see how many days are left in the campaign. Whoever has the most points by the end wins. And then the whole cycle immediately starts again. There is no big prize for winning, but you can trade your own points for rewards. See your points in the faction warfare tab. Check the weekly reports too, as you may have bonus points there, and you have to claim them manually each week. In the first tab, you can also see the weekly campaign rewards, but these are only available to premium users. If you'd like to get 7 days of free premium,
tell us what faction you are in.
I will randomly select 5 comments and announce the winners a week from now. And if you want to help me out, it would mean the world to me if you help me reach 5,000 subscribers, so I can get my Albion creator code. I would appreciate it so much. You guys absolutely crushed it in the last video. We got more than 300, 400 subs. It's crazy. And now let's see how to spend your earned faction points. Go back to the faction NPC you enlisted at and you can choose from these rewards. Your city's hearts, they have a pretty consistent sell value and you can increase your profit through heart transport missions. This is when you take a number of hearts and carry them to a specific location in the red zone. You then get a larger number of shadow hearts back, which you can sell for a profit. These are pretty boring though, because all you do is run across the map. Campaign chests, these are similar to the ones you earn as rewards. They have a mix of silver, tomes and various types of loot. And your city's crests, used to craft capes, and if you want to get into crafting and economy, this could be a good place to start. Baby animals that you can raise into mounts if you have access to an island. This takes a lot of effort and time to be profitable, so I don't recommend this for beginners. Lastly, vanity items. These are non-tradable and just purely cosmetic, so only buy them if you want to look really cool. If you want to increase your rank to unlock more rewards, then do a bit of faction every day. You can get additional faction standing by earning up to 5,000 faction points per day. Know that if you reach really high ranks, there is a decay to your standing, but you only have to worry about this once you get past 1.4 million points. And that was your complete guide to faction warfare after Realm Divided 2. Now go charge into battle or the wrong directions, but either way, make sure to have fun. Thank you for watching until the end, and I will see you in the next one.